She said, I would like to apologize to my friends, teammates, the city of New Orleans, the black community, NFL community, and anyone I hurt with my comments yesterday. In speaking with some of you, it breaks my heart to know the pain I have caused. In an attempt to talk about respect, unity, and solidarity centered around the American flag and the national anthem, I made comments that were insensitive and completely missed the mark on the issues we are facing right now as a country. They lacked awareness and any type of compassion or empathy. Instead, those words have become divisive and hurtful and have misled people into believing that somehow I am an enemy. This could not be further from the truth and is not an accurate reflection of my heart or my character. That's just part of Drew Brees' statement on Instagram that he released this morning. We now welcome in ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck to this conversation. And Tim, we'll start with you here and then bring in, of course, Stephen A. and Max. How do you think the reaction to Brees could affect some white players speaking out?
Yeah, I mean, I think players' individual decision to reach out or speak out is going to be just that. It's going to be individual. What I would say is that I would hope that, the only lesson learned in this would not be a lesson of like, hey, don't say anything, but a lesson of when you do say something to speak with empathy, much more in line with Drew's apology than his initial statement. And so, I think that we, are obviously and rightfully so focused on, what Drew has said. But, prior to Drew's comments, we did see other white athletes. We did see Carson Wentz and we did see Nick Foles and we did see Joe Burrow, step into arena and comment on things that other white athletes have not commented on in the past. And quite honestly, those guys and their remarks were received with open arms from so many of their black teammates and just guys in general around the league. And so, hopefully the momentum of those statements and the reaction of those statements and feeling like, they are arm in arm with, their white teammates, that prevails over kind of the reaction to the initial tone-deaf response from Drew Brees and then the reaction to that.
In terms of how this might affect white players speaking out, I think that if a white player is not sufficiently informed about the issues, if they are asked, they should say, I'm listening. I'm listening. My heart is with my teammates. My heart is with Americans who are oppressed, and I'm listening. And then maybe not open their mouths if they're going to put their foot right in it. Think about the content of what Drew Brees said, which was, again, 4 years ago, uncontroversial. The mainstream was with it. On this show, I and others were railing against it, and we're for Kaepernick's right to protest and for the issues, by the way, the actual content that he was protesting. But the mainstream wasn't. So why Kaepernick doesn't have a job? And certainly the owners weren't. That's why he doesn't have a job. They feared for, the economic impact of the either ill-informed or those who weren't of goodwill. Because what Dominique Foxworth said earlier in the show about there's a right and wrong about the flag, you can debate him if you will, but I fundamentally agree with his point of view that Brees, when he's talking about, look, if you have problems with America, I agree. Even in the statement that drove everyone nuts, he made mention of that. There are problems, and he's for his, he's against oppression of people and all these things. So he actually made that comment in the original comment or something along those lines, right? And yet, to say that you can't protest the flag or that any protest of the flag is a disrespect of the flag, does he just care about the cloth and the symbol or what it represents? Because when people say, because we're free, his grandfathers fought for our freedom in the Second World War, he thinks about that. Well, he's from Texas originally. Texas was segregated in the 40s. So it wasn't for everybody's freedom. It was for some people's freedom. And that's the great irony of the United States. It was built on the backs of the land of the free, of those who were unfree. And so the right that we cherish the most, that makes us most free, is our freedom of expression, our First Amendment right. And it's why it's a legitimate point of view to say the most American thing you can do is kneel during the anthem, or what Drew Brees considers disrespect the flag. So even there, I'm not saying that there's not an argument on the other side. I just think it's a losing argument, but you can make at least a plausible, perfunctory, reasonable one. What I'm saying is, even there, I don't think his position is well thought out enough. And Drew Brees has probably thought it out better than some others who might be asked to talk. So I would say that it should make white, or underinformed players, and I'm talking just assuming they have goodwill, hesitant to speak until they know a little more. But what they should say is easy things like, we're against oppression. I'm for my teammates, including and maybe especially for my African-American teammates who are going through something right now. The question is this a turning point, or is it simply a moment in time? And what you must hope, if you're an American of goodwill, is that this is a turning point and that stuff doesn't fly anymore.
That will depend on all of us,
time of
though,
change,
not
certainly.
just Drew Brees. All of us.